What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I wanted to do something super chill, but also kind of throw it back a little bit because I used to do a ton of these like Amy's advice videos where I would do, I would actually include them in Chit Chat Get Ready With Me's. But this time I figured, why not just sit down, chill with some wine and just chat with you guys, answer any advice that you need on current life situations that you're going through. So I asked you guys on Instagram to let me know what you're currently going through that you need advice on. So anything from family to relationships, friendships. We have some very juicy situations that you guys need advice on. So I am here to give you my advice and I'm super excited. So yeah, just go grab yourself a glass of wine or a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. If you're like me, you're gonna drink some wine. Okay, so I have my absolute favorite wine ever. It's like 2 p.m. right now. Do people drink wine at 2 p.m.? I don't know. Usually not me. I'm usually like a 7 to 8 p.m. type of girl. Not that I'm a frequent drinker. Anyways, this is my absolute favorite. So I'm like such a lightweight, you guys. I don't like hard liquor or like wine that has too much alcohol in it. So I love this one. It's open, so I should really be careful it's not gonna fall. It's called Girls Night Out and I love the strawberry one. And I have to have ice. I have to have ice. Also, one thing about me is I hate red wine. I cannot stand red wine. It's so just like strong and bitter. I'm like a flavored wine type of gal. Should I put more? Let me put more. Okay, so I'm ready. So we're just gonna go ahead and get right into it. I have all of the questions screenshot on my phone. I'm going to be keeping everyone anonymous just to, of course, keep everyone's life private. So the first kind of advice question that I got asked was, I'm afraid to tell my dad I'm marrying, I need to drink some wine first, hold on. I'm afraid to tell my dad I'm marrying my boyfriend of 4 years because he doesn't agree with it, because he's the first boyfriend I've ever had and he's afraid he's just using me for papers because he's undocumented. Outside of my dad, I do have an amazing support system with his family and my close friends. Should I tell my dad that this is something I want to do? Also wanted to note that we are both 24 years old. So honestly, one thing I realize in life in general is you have to do what makes you happy and what you want. And at the same time, you have to understand that like your dad is only looking out for you. Let's just cut to the chase. Let's just cut the bullshit. You're going to be worried if you have somebody in your life that you care for and they are wanting to marry somebody who is undocumented and doesn't have their papers. You're gonna be worried. It's gonna cross your mind like, is he using her? So it's not crazy that your dad has those concerns, but at the end of the day, it's okay. It's one thing to have concerns for somebody. You have to have concerns, address them, and let it go, because people have to live their lives. That's one thing I've learned, just speaking from your dad's perspective. He has to be concerned, cool, let you know what he thinks, cool, warn you, cool, but then let it go. Like, it's your life. You're gonna make the decisions that you want, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, you know your relationship, you know if it's real or not, and it's your life. So yeah, I would just say, tell your dad, girl. There's no way around it. Like, what are you gonna do? Live your life for the next few years being afraid to tell your dad that you wanna marry someone? Like, you're gonna have to tell him eventually, you know what I mean? So just tell him, hey, this is what I'm doing. Thank you so much for being concerned, but I'm good. So this one is more of a question and not like a life situation. It says, what do you think are the top important things a married couple have to do to keep their relationship / bond strong? So I think the absolute top things that a married couple has to do is work on that foundation of being best friends. Like, that's everything. Of course, you have to have intimacy, and of course, you have to have love beyond friendship, but there has to 100% be that, like, I'm down for you, ride or die, I can trust you, I'm loyal to you, best friend friendship. Like, there has to be that friendship there. When you guys are 80, you're old, you're wrinkly, and you guys are not interested in being intimate, what's gonna be there? Like, you know what I mean? You have to have that like best friend relationship. That's the person you're gonna go do everything with in life. And in order for that to be there, the trust has to be there. That person has to be the #1 person in your life that you would trust with your entire soul, with your entire life. You would trust your life in their hands because you know that they would take care of you and that they would always have your back and that they would have your best interests at heart. So I feel like for sure, #1, there has to be that trust there so that you guys can have more like that best friend relationship. Isn't that what everybody really wants at the end of the day? Next one is, I was dating a guy for 5 months and randomly came across this woman's proposal photos and pregnancy announcement in one to just see the man I've been seeing alongside her. Should I just ghost him and continue on with my life, or DM the poor girl? This is a hard one. First of all, like, sorry to you, because you've been seeing this guy and probably were feeling him, and then you find out the man is like full on engaged and she's pregnant. Like, what the actual fuck? Honestly, I think I would DM the girl. I think I would DM her. Like, I know it's tough because some people are just like, let me stay out of it. Think about it. The way that I would rationalize that and come to that decision if it was me, I would say, like, would I want to know? If the roles were reversed and you were pregnant, getting proposed to, and your man was dating someone else, would you want to know? Would you want her to tell you, or would you want her to keep it quiet? I would want her to tell me. Somebody's got to tell me, like, shit, I'm over here popping out babies, about to get married, and this man's seeing someone else. Like, somebody's got to tell me, you know what I mean? Like, I would want to know. So 100%, I think you should tell her, DM her, but make sure you come with receipts, because, you know, some girls are crazy and they just don't want to believe you and all that. Obviously, you're not coming at her and with like some attitude type of way. You're coming at her like trying to, you know, just say, hey girl, I'm looking out for you, just letting you know this is what happens. This is what happened. I'm not seeing him anymore, and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? She deserves to know, in my opinion. So this one is a long one, but it is so important, so just hang in there. Hi Amy, I really hope you read me on your video and just personally give me some advice. So here's my situation. I was in my first real/serious relationship and I'm 30. It would have been now 7 months that we would be together. I'll describe him as a very hard worker, a good father, very sweet, very affectionate, very nice to be around, but he also gets very jealous and insecure. He always thinks that I'm cheating on him. He wants to look through my phone, email, social media every now and then. It can be very irritating for me, and we do argue often about it. His birthday was on October 24th, Scorpio. That's the first thing that came to my mind when I read that. He turned 38 and I organized a very nice dinner. I decorated his place. I get him some nice gifts and I invite his friends and family. I think I cut off some of the message, but basically I remember, because I read this last night, she was saying that at the end of the night, he pulled her aside and said that that she disrespected him because he saw me giving my number to one of his friends with my fingers, like finger signs across the room. Mind you, I was sitting next to him pretty much all the time, because I know how he can get when there's other men around. So we start to argue and he ended up hitting me very hard. First of all, before I even read what came after that about him hitting her, right away I just said, red flag, time to end the relationship. I can just tell already. A man that has those type of behaviors, no matter how good he is, I don't care if he's a pope, I don't care if he's a saint, I don't care if he is Jesus Christ himself, I don't care how good of a father he is, I don't care how affectionate he is, how hard of a worker he is. Again, I do not care if he is Jesus in the flesh. A man who's going to be that insecure and that controlling and that overprotective about literally anything, no. Like, red flag. And I know it can be hard to see, because sometimes you can see the good things. Like, how can somebody so good go so dark? Believe me, the light, the goodness, the light within the good does not brighten up the darkness. Believe that. Somebody that has that level of darkness within them, as crazy as you know, bad as it sounds, that darkness will dim that light. It doesn't matter how many good things he has about him. I don't care if he is God himself. If he is that dark in those moments where he can be controlling, he's looking through your social media phone, you can't even be at a party free, be by yourself. What type of a person wants to be held in that captivity? And you're worried every single day that you're gonna make him upset just by breathing, just by living, just by being yourself? No, like, red flag right then and there. I don't mean to come across as harsh, but just straight up, that's a huge red flag. The relationship needs to end. It needs to end. But she continued to say, so we start to argue and he ended up hitting me very hard, so hard that I literally flew off my feet and left the ground. Mind you, I'm 5'10" and I'm not a small girl. I flew on the bed and broke it. It's not the first time that he let his imagination/jealousy get the best of him, but it's the first time that he actually hit me. Since then, I broke up with him, but he keeps calling my phone every day, being sorry, crying, saying that he doesn't want to let me go, begging me to give him another chance. I'm lost and she just went on to say that she doesn't want to blame it on the alcohol, but if she feels like alcohol wasn't involved, then he would have done that, and blah, blah, blah. Believe me, that is just something that you are telling yourself so that you can feel good about potentially taking it back. Alcohol, no alcohol, it doesn't matter regardless. He is a very controlling person. I believe even without alcohol, it might not have happened that night, but it would have happened eventually. Somebody who has that darkness that just wants to control you, wants to stalk your social media, check your phone, check your emails, blah, 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 and all this stuff. A man that's going to do that to you is controlling, and those are red flags of an abuser. Like, before I even read that he hit her, I right away said in my head, that is a red flags for a man that's going to be an abuser. And what do you know it? The next sentence I read is that he hit you. So straight up, I know it's hard, but you have to say to yourself, this is going, like, the situation you're in right now, it's time to end it now while it's still semi-early. If you keep going on with this, guys, before you know it, you're gonna be 7 years in, and who knows what he'll do to you. There are men that it starts off like this, and there's men that years later, they'll go and murder their partner. You don't want that to happen to you. You don't want to be in a situation where he has such captivity over you that he ends up doing worse things than even hitting you. You want to get out now before things get even worse. So yeah, run. So the next one is, I'm in a long distance relationship and the guy is amazing. I have never been treated this good, but we both get really angry very fast, and I have a bad habit of saying things that can be very harsh. I was just brought up in a very toxic household. We do end up fixing things, but I want it to be more smooth. Advice on how I can deal with anger issues, communicate better, and if I should just drop the relationship. You definitely shouldn't just drop the relationship, in my opinion. I think a lot of people want to try and believe that like relationships should be perfect and it should just be this like storybook relationship where you guys meet and you communicate perfectly and you don't have any problems and everything is perfect and you're best friends and everything is just perfect. That's not reality. The reality is you guys are two individuals, and sometimes people have different communication styles and sometimes they clash, and sometimes you're toxic on your own and then you bring it to the relationship, and then, you know what I mean, things are not perfect. So regardless, you have to you're going to learn. Like, the fact that you actually recognize this behavior as like a bad thing, the fact that you're actually saying, hey, I want to stop getting angry so fast and I want to stop saying harsh things when I'm in the heat of the moment, the fact that you're recognizing that is a good sign. Like, I think you'll be okay. I think as long as you guys talk about it constantly and are constantly trying to make things better, you definitely will get there. A big tip of mine is to, and something that I've had to do, because I can be like that too, where I just get so hot-headed. The thing with me is I'm a very patient person. Like, you guys see me all the time. I'm super calm, I'm very chill, and I can be pretty patient. But I have this switch within me that if you really push me to that limit, when that switch flips, you don't want to be near me. Like, I'm like that, you know what I mean? I'm super chill, super calm, and then you flip that switch and you're like, oh, I just made her very freaking mad. Like, you know what I mean? That's how I am. So I can be like that too. So I understand what that's like. And what I had to start doing was promising to take a step back. Anytime like I would be angry, I would literally just be silent, remove myself from the situation, breathe in, breathe out, take however long I needed, whether it's a few minutes or an hour or two, whatever, how long you need to just cool off, and only talk about things when you are cooled off and you don't feel, you know that everybody, you know what I'm talking about. You know when you're emotional and you're heated or you're mad, you have that like fire within you. When that fire starts to dim and you just start to like cool down a little bit, that's when your rational thoughts are gonna start kicking in and you're gonna be able to handle the situation better. You're going to be able to sort out a situation better. So that's when you want to have an argument. You want to have an argument when you are calmed down a little bit. So I would definitely recommend taking a step back, removing yourself from the situation, and only talking about things when you're more calm. So the next advice question is, I don't have confidence in me. I always think that other girls are better. Honestly, girl, this is something that I can relate to. And I know a lot of you guys might be shocked by that, but growing up, I was always such an insecure person because I don't know, I was always the chubby kid in school. I always got picked on. I always was insecure about my weight, and that made me just insecure about myself as a person. And I always looked at other girls like, oh, you know, she's so cool. She really has her shit together. She's not chubby, or she's so pretty. Like, I want to be her. And I kind of carried that into my teenage years. It wasn't until I started losing weight, and I'm not saying you need to lose weight. It's obviously not. I'm just saying for me, It wasn't until I started losing weight that it forced me, and it's not the actual weight loss. The weight loss doesn't fix anything. It really doesn't. Because in high school, I lost like 50 pounds and I was so insecure, like 10 times more insecure. So it's not the actual weight loss. All I'm saying is going on that weight loss journey forced me to actually dig deep on like some of the issues that I had. So it forced me to look at that. And over the years, I've just really tried to build my confidence. And one thing that I really realized, and you have to just know this and own it, is there's only one you in this world. Like, think about that. There is only one you in this entire world. Only you have what you have to offer. Nobody else has that. Isn't that so special? And isn't that so unique? It's a constant reminder too. Like, one thing that's really helped me is daily affirmations. I know this sounds kind of crazy, but sometimes it helps me. And you guys know, like, I hate corny things. Like, corny things make me cringe. So this is gonna sound corny, but it really has helped me. Something that I do almost every day or whenever I need it is I just repeat to myself in my head certain like affirmations that really do help me. Like, I'll say to myself, I'm beautiful, I'm confident. I'll tell myself that I'm confident. And when you tell yourself that you're confident, you really start to believe it and you really start to embody it. So yeah, affirmations are definitely huge and they've really just helped me in general with so many things. Next one is my boyfriend's love language is physical touch and mine is not. How do I deal with that? So this is something I can seriously relate to so much. My love language is not physical touch either. I'm like an acts of service type of girl. Literally clean the house for me, vacuum for me, do the dishes, fill up my water bottle for me, well, not my wine, fill up my water bottle for me. It just shows me that like you were thinking of me and you were thinking about what I needed. And that's something that I love. So I can totally relate. Honestly, when it comes to your partner having a different love language than you, it's going to take effort for you to be mindful of that and be like, hey, what does my partner need today? And maybe it's not gonna be an everyday thing because we're busy and sometimes things slack off, but I think you should make a weekly effort to at least constantly be trying to meet your partner's love language. So if you know his love language was physical touch, go up to him randomly and give him a hug. Go up to him and hold his hand or give him a kiss on the cheek, or you know what I mean? Like, you have to make an effort. Relationships and marriages are effort. And if you have different love languages, then both people need to make a weekly ongoing consistent effort to constantly think about what the other person needs. Someone said, what's your advice on keeping the spark/romance going in a long-term relationship? This is so big because I feel like a lot of the times, of course, when you first get together, this is my theory on it, okay? I think what happens is couples stop dating each other. Like, I think that's seriously what happens. When you first get together, you're getting to know each other and you date each other, right? Like, you're dating. And then once you get into a relationship, some people will still date, but then some people get so comfortable you don't date each other anymore. And then you get married and you don't date at all. The problem with that is you're not dating each other. I feel like no matter how long you're together, whether you're in a long-term relationship, whether you're married, you need to keep dating. Like, go out on dates together and actually sit down and talk, put away the phone the same way you would when you're first getting to know each other. So I honestly think that that's the key. Like, the key is to keep dating each other. Date each other for the rest of your lives. So this one says, fiance cheated on me a few months before our wedding day, second chances. So here's my theory on that. I'm not gonna say, I believe life is so complex. I don't look at situations in terms of like black and white, like, oh my God, he cheated, done. I don't look at situations like that. I think situations are so complex and I do think that people can change, but I personally don't think I would be able to get over something like that. But if you truly feel like you could get over something like that deep down within you, if you feel like you could get over it, then you can continue the relationship. But my advice would be not to get married. I do not think it would be the time to get married because you're gonna make that commitment. And in such a vulnerable time where he really cheated on you, like, you don't want to make that decision of making that commitment. There's no rush, in my opinion. Give you guys like a good couple months to a year to see if you can get over things, see if you can fix things, and then you can think about marriage. I don't think after that happened that you need to even think about marriage. I definitely would not get married. Because she said in a few months, I definitely wouldn't. Put it off. How to get your friend to dump her toxic boyfriend. She knows he's toxic, but she won't leave him. You don't get her to leave him. Like, you guys, I have been there where you have somebody in your life, and it's frustrating, and you have to understand too that like people go through different situations in life, so it can be frustrating when you're in a secure relationship and then you see your friend getting their heart broken, but they're not breaking up with that person, or they're just in a toxic place. Like, it can be frustrating, but you have to be empathetic and understand that they're just going through it the same way that maybe you did in the past. And one thing that I realize is, she said, how do you get your friend to dump him? You don't get her to dump him. You don't. It's not your life, and it's not something that you can focus on, because if you focus all your energy on that, I'm telling you, you will mentally and emotionally exhaust yourself. I have been there. I have done that. I have gotten to the point in my life where I've given myself permission to wash my hands clean of other people's lives. Like, I can care about somebody and warn them about something. If they ask me for advice, I can be there for them and be an ear to listen when they want somebody to listen. And if they ask me for advice, sure, I'll give them my one-stop shop advice, and that is that. I'm not gonna keep going on and trying to get you to do something in your life. People have to live their own lives, and you have to let them be them and live their own lives and let them go through their own shit. I've been there because you care so much. So you're like, okay, I can see from the outside looking in, I care so much, this is what you should do. But the reality is, you have to accept that people are going to live their own lives, and you just have to be there and let them go through it. Like, let them do them and let them go through it and go through the motions on their own. Like, I've just realized that you can't, it's not your life at the end of the day. Okay, so this one says how to keep sex exciting in a long-term relationship / marriage. I feel like to keep it interesting, a little lingerie to spice things up is good. And also I feel like just open communication, talking to each other like once in a while. I feel like a lot of couples don't do this, but once in a while talking to each other about like, hey, like, what are your needs? What are your desires? And just really getting to know each other in that way. I feel like a lot of couples don't feel comfortable openly talking about sex, and I feel like once you open that door, there's just a different level of comfort that you can both reach as a couple, and I feel like that really helps. Okay, so I think this is gonna be the last advice question, because I think this video is already pretty long. So the next one is, my fiance and I are best friends with the couple, and the girl just asked him for a divorce. She's keeping the house and he has nowhere to stay until he finds an apartment. So obviously my boyfriend wants him to come live with us temporarily, but I feel like I'm betraying my best friend if I say yes. Things are not good between them, so I don't want her to think that I'm picking his side. What do I do? This can be a hard one. Like, I honestly, this is a hard one. I read it last night, obviously, because I screenshot it, and I'm trying to think of an answer. I have to just be honest. Like, I would love to sit here, pretend like I got my shit together and I have like the greatest answer in the world, but this is a hard one. I don't know, maybe in that situation I would call my friend, because it is a tricky situation. Like, you guys are all, or were all friends, and then like your husband's obviously friends with the guy and you're friends with the girl, so it's like, it's a tricky situation. In that sticky, tricky type of situation, I would probably call the girl and say, you know, he has nowhere to live. My husband wants him to come here. Is that something that would bother you? I would ask her. And I think if she freaked out about it, maybe your husband should tell the guy, like, maybe if he has another friend to stay with, like, maybe if he has another friend to stay with, he can stay with another friend so that he's not putting you guys in that awkward situation. I think that would be what I would say as well. But it is a sticky situation. You guys, write in the comment section down below what you think she should do, because I mean, I'm a little perplexed right now. Does perplexed mean what I think it means? What does perplexed mean?
Perplexed.
Completely baffled and very puzzled. How I feel right now. I'm just gonna drink all that. When I'm on a calorie deficit, I don't drink alcohol because it's like such a waste of calories for me, but today we're living it up. Okay, so those are all of the Amy's advice questions that you guys had to ask. Thank you so much for those of you who wrote in, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I thought it was just super fun. Again, I usually include like the Amy's advice into Check It Ready With Me's, which I love and I still will continue doing, but I thought it would be just fun today to sit down in my room, chit chat. I'm like tripping up on my words here. Chit chat, have super chill vibes, and just have some girl talk. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you liked this video, don't forget to like, thumbs up. The more you guys like a video, then I'll know if that you actually liked it, and then I'll keep doing those type of videos. So definitely let me know in the comment section down below and like the video as well. And if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. I have a ton of videos coming up that I'm really thinking, I really cannot talk, that I'm really thinking I'm excited for. That's what I was literally gonna say. Was I gonna say? Yeah, I was gonna say I have a ton of exciting videos coming up. I'm actually gonna be organizing my pantry soon. So we're gonna do a whole video on organizing my entire pantry. After that, we'll do my fridge and just so on and so on and so on. Lots of exciting things. Subscribe. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys. Mwah.